Why did Lord Brahma marry his own daughter Saraswati? How can a god do that? Actually, it is not supposed to be taken literally. How? Let us explain. Saraswati, who is described as his daughter in a symbolic or metaphysical sense, not biological. In Hindu cosmology, Saraswati is often seen as a creation of Brahma, a manifestation of his knowledge. So when stories depict Lord Brahma desiring her, it's not incest in the literal human sense. It's symbolic of the Creator's desire for his own creation or for knowledge itself. So you are asking the wrong questions of why did he do it. Ask the right questions. What do these stories from Puranas are trying to say? Puranas often use metaphor. Here, it's the mind Lord Brahma desiring wisdom Saraswati to create the universe. People ask these questions because they haven't read the Brahma Purana. So today, we are going to learn Brahma Puran. Write down in comments what these stories mean to you. Let's answer the questions of how was the universe created? Who birthed God, demons, and all creatures? What is the history of mankind? Who were the great kings in their lineage? How is time divided? Let's start with Brahma Purana and answer these questions. How did Lord Brahma come to be? Before time, before space, before even sound, there was only a boundless ocean, still, silent, eternal. There, upon the endless waters, lay Lord Vishnu, so serene, so still. The ocean itself named him Narayana, he who rests upon the waters. Then, it appeared a radiant golden egg glowing with the light of creation. Within it, Lord Brahma slept. For a full divine year, he incubated in silence. And when he awakened, he broke free, splitting the egg in two. One half became heaven, the other, earth. From his mind all things were born, directions, skies, time, speech, the senses. Creation poured forth like a thought becoming real. Then came the great sages, Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulastya, Pulaha, Kratu, and Vasistha, alongside Rudra, fierce as fire, and Sanat Kumara, the eternal youth. All of it, worlds, time, wisdom, emerged from one pure awareness. The universe was not built, it was dreamed, played into being with purpose, and in the end it will return to that same source of silence. Who was the first king of earth? From his own self-made body, Lord Brahma created the primal couple, Manu and Shatarupa. All humanity descended from them. Their grandson Dhruva impressed Lord Brahma with his devotion that he became the pole star, an eternal beacon in the night sky. Dhruva's descendants included Prachinavarhi, whose 10 sons, the Prachetas, abandoned world affairs for oceanic tapasya. With no rulers, earth spiraled into chaos. Forests overran lands, winds stalled, and people perished. Furious, the Prachetas exhaled winds and spewed fire, incinerating most trees. Concerned, the moon god Soma sent them Maricha, whose son Daksha restored order and became known as Prajapati, lord of creatures. This story teaches that while spiritual aspiration and inner transformation are powerful, they must be balanced by ethical engagement in the world. What is the story behind sage Narada? Daksha sets out to populate the universe, starting with 5,000 sons. But just as they're about to begin their divine duties, along comes the celestial Rishi Narada, who convinces them to abandon everything and go see the world. They never come back. Daksha blamed Narada for the disappearance of all his sons and wanted to kill him. But Brahma stepped in and persuaded Daksha to control his anger. Daksha agreed, but only on one wild condition. Fine, but Brahma must marry my daughter Priya and Narada must be born as their son. This story tells us that the universe unfolds not through strict control, but through a dynamic dance of exploration, forgiveness, and unexpected alliances. Who was the mother of everything? Daksha and Asikli also had 60 daughters. Here's what happened to them. 10 daughters married Dharma. 13 daughters married the sage Kashyapa. 27 daughters married Soma. Others married to different sages. These daughters became the mothers of everything, from gods and demons to stars, snakes, birds, and even shrubs. This story suggests how we all descended from one singular point, but we all are unique in our own way. Why is Earth called Prithvi? After tyrant Vena's death, sages birthed Prithu from his body, divine, just, and born to restore order. But when the land remained barren, Prithu pursued the earth, who fled in fear, disguised as a cow. Instead of force, he offered protection. Moved, she let him milk her, yielding crops, wealth, and life itself. From that day, she was called Prithvi, daughter of Prithu, symbolizing that by protecting and taking care of the earth gave humankind all the seeds and wealth. How is time divided? Time divides into 4 ages: Satya, Treta, Dvapara, Kali, forming a Mahayuga. 71 Mahayugas make a Manvantara, governed by a Manu, and 14 Manvantaras span a Kalpa, one day of Brahma. At each Kalpa's end, the universe dissolves in Pralaya, only for creation to dawn anew, meaning that chaos is creation, and creation is chaos. How are Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva one? Sage Markandeya was so deep in meditation that he didn't notice the end of the world creeping in. Suddenly the skies turned black. The great Pralaya, the cosmic flood, had begun. But Markandeya, calm. He just floated on a banyan tree leaf, carried by the floodwaters like a wise little lifeboat. He saw a divine baby lying on a leaf. It was Vishnu in the form of a child. This vision revealed the secret. Vishnu and Shiva are one, the essence of all creation and destruction. It revealed that chaos and creation are one. The end of the world is the birth of the new. When the flood ended, Markandeya shared this realization with the world and built a temple to Bhuvaneshvara, the Lord of the universe. This story shows that creation and destruction are two faces of the same divine reality. By seeing Vishnu as the cosmic child drifting on the floodwaters that Shiva's Pralaya unleashed, Markandeya realizes that the preserver and the transformer are not separate gods, but one infinite power. It teaches us that endings always carry the seeds of new beginnings. Who was King Sagara? King Bahu, who lost his kingdom to enemies, including thieves and even his own relatives. Broken and banished, Bahu went into exile with his 2 wives. But there was drama. His second wife poisoned the first wife's food, hoping to stop her from bearing an heir. Didn't work. The first wife gave birth in the forest to a son named Sagara, and thanks to the sage Aurva, the child survived. Strong, wise, and destined for greatness. When Sagara grew up, he reclaimed his father's kingdom and vowed to restore righteousness. This tale speaks to the power of resilience and the triumph of rightful virtue over betrayal and hardship. Ultimately, it reminds us that even in the darkest moments, hope can be born and destiny fulfilled through faith, perseverance, and moral strength. How did Ganga come to earth? King Sagara wanted to prove his power, so he performed the grand Ashvamedha Yajna. But then, the ritual horse went missing. He sent his 60,000 sons to find it. They dug through the earth, stormed into the underworld, and finally found the horse, calmly sitting near sage Kapila. Big mistake. They accused him of theft. Kapila, disturbed during his meditation, opened his eyes and burned all 60,000 sons to ashes. Generations later, their descendant Bhagaratha wanted to redeem their souls. He performed intense penance, begging the river goddess Ganga to descend from the heavens and wash away the sins of his ancestors. Ganga agreed, but her power could shatter the earth. So Shiva stepped in, catching her in his matted hair to soften her fall. Ganga flowed gently to earth, purified the ashes, and gave salvation to Sagara's sons. And that's how Ganga, the sacred river, came to us. From the heavens, through Shiva, by Bhagaratha's devotion. In the end, the story reminds us that salvation arises not from conquest, but from reverence, patience, and the transformative power of grace. What is the worst way to reach heaven? King Trishanku had one dream, to reach heaven in his mortal body. Not through death, not through karma. Nope, body and all. The priest said, impossible. So he turned to sage Vishvamitra, who loved a good challenge. And even more, proving people wrong. Vishvamitra performed powerful rituals and launched Trishanku upward, literally. But just as he reached heaven's gates, the gods pushed him back. Not one to give up, Vishvamitra got angry, paused mid-ritual, and created a parallel heaven in the sky, just for Trishanku. And there he hangs, upside down, suspended forever between the heavens and earth. Why upside down? Because you don't argue with Vishvamitra halfway through a ritual. Trishanku's tale shows that boundless ambition can challenge cosmic laws, and a fierce will can rewrite reality. Why was there a civil war between gods? The moon god Chandra was charming, radiant. He fell in love with Tara, the wife of the wise planet guru Brihaspati. Tara was enchanted and eloped with Chandra. The gods tried to mediate. Sages begged for peace. At last, Lord Brahma stepped in. Eventually, Tara was returned, but not before she gave birth to a son named Buddha, the planet Mercury. How was Bharat named? Buddha, son of Chandra and Tara, married Ila, and they had a son named Pururava, a king so noble and radiant that even Apsaras like Urvashi couldn't resist him. From him descended a long line of kings, including Yayati, who had 5 sons, Yadu, Turvasu, Druhu, Anu, and Puru. When Yayati grew old, he asked his sons to trade their youth for his. Only Puru agreed. Touched, Yayati blessed him with the central throne, and Puru became the ancestor of the Kurus and the famed King Bharata, for whom Bharat is named. This story shows that divine passion shapes destiny, but true greatness comes from self-sacrifice and virtue, laying the roots of noble lineages. How did this king teach on how to be a good king? Once, a sage named Kapalagutama lived a quiet spiritual life with his beloved child. But tragedy struck. The child died young, leaving the sage in unbearable grief. In his sorrow, he crossed paths with King Shveta. In his kingdom, longevity was high, and there was no infant mortality. So he prayed to Lord Shiva, and the child came back to life. Also, King Shveta built a temple to Shveta Madhava for Lord Vishnu. It shows that even the deepest grief can be healed through sincere devotion, and how a good ruler takes care of his people. Why did Lord Vishnu promise kingship to a demon? King Bali was a righteous demon king, generous, wise, and powerful enough to challenge the gods. He performed the Ashvamedha Yajna, staking his claim over the three worlds. Worried, the gods begged Vishnu to stop him. Vishnu didn't bring weapons. He took the form of a tiny Brahmin dwarf named Vamana and appeared before Bali. "I only ask for 3 steps of land," Vamana said humbly. Generous Bali agreed. Suddenly, Vamana expanded to cosmic size. With 1 step, he covered the earth. With the second, he spanned the heavens. With no place left, Bali offered his own head for the third. Impressed by his humility, Vishnu didn't destroy him. Instead, he granted Bali sovereignty over the netherworld and a promise of future kingship during the next age. This tale teaches that true greatness isn't measured by power or conquest, but by humility and selfless generosity. Bali's open-hearted gift won him lasting honor, even from the gods. Let's dissect the entire family tree described in the Brahma Puran. First, there was Narayana, then came the golden egg from which Lord Brahma came to be. From Lord Brahma's mind, 7 great sages appeared. From Lord Brahma's body, Svayambhuva Manu and Shatarupa were formed. They had a grandson named Dhruva, which became the pole star. Dhruva's great-grandson was Daksh Parjapati. Daksh and Asikli had 60 daughters. These daughters were married to various sages like Dharma and Kashyapa, and from them came all beings in the universe. Dharma's sons became the forces of nature. Kashyapa's wives gave birth to gods, birds, plants, and celestial beings. From the moon, god Soma came Buddha, whose son Pururava began a royal line leading to King Bharata in the Kuru dynasty. This shows that all of creation, gods, humans, animals, and spirits, comes from one vast divine family. If this is too hard for you to follow, or you would like a deeper dive in the Brahma Puran, you can get it from the link in description. Puranas are like encyclopedia with so many details and told in such a way that you need to read it yourself for stories about the evolution of the solar and lunar dynasties, story of the Syamantaka jewel, the 7 continents and geography, and the narrative of Sage Kandu. You can read them in an easy and simplified manner from the link in the description. After all the cosmic battles, divine births, and galaxy-sized promises, the Brahma Purana ends on a quieter, deeper note. It shifts focus from the heavens to earth, specifically to the sacred rivers, temples, and holy sites, which you can read the entire Brahma Puran from the link in description. Share this video so more people know the stories and the truth behind the Brahma Puran. Subscribe.